You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running around chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the life, if you hadn't run away.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hey. Happy Friday, Junior. Welcome to Nicole D. Vick Live. My name is Nicole D. Vick, Dr. Nicole D. Vick. I have to get myself used to saying that. I'm still not used to it. I don't know. One day it's going to feel real natural. But right now it still doesn't quite feel that way, even though I graduated way back in May. But anyway, happy to have you here. So excited to be back. The last time y'all saw me was September 19th. So right before my birthday, we had the birthday episode. So every week I come to you live for the most part. Sometimes we do recorded episodes with very important topics in the Black community with a little bit of a social justice little spin, right? Because I feel like you really can't talk about the Black community and our issues and concerns without that. Like you gotta kind of throw that little sprinkle of social justice on there. So yes. My birthday month is gone. And for me, I always feel like once September ends, we are already in the next year. Like it's 2025. So in 5 minutes, it's going to be 2025. And that's going to be real wild to me. I'm not quite ready for that. Halloween is coming. Thanksgiving is coming. And I'm like, where's the time going? Please, can you slow down a little bit? And time is like, no, baby, we finna go full steam ahead. All gas, no brakes. And I'm like, I just need you to just tap the brake a little bit. Just but time is like, no, we gonna keep pushing. So for October, I want to dedicate the episodes this month to healthcare, all things healthcare. I know, for example, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but I, have had, a health incident that has shown me some things about the healthcare system in the United States. And I want to kind of talk about that and bring some guests in, for the week, the month, and have them talk about it as well from a number of different perspectives. But, this major healthcare incident really showed me some things. And I think the craziest part about it is I was like, but I have health insurance. So when all those conversations over the years around Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, universal health care, and all those things were coming up, in the sort of political sphere, I'm like, but I have health insurance. This is not about Nicole. This is a conversation not about me. Sure, I was invested and interested in it, but it didn't impact me because I got health insurance. Hey, this is not my, my battle. But this taught me that all of us need to be paying attention to what's going on and the conversations around healthcare in this country, because whether you have insurance or not, you can be impacted, and it could be very, very ugly, very, very difficult, unaffordable, complicated, confusing, and just all around a pain in the behind. Okay. So I said, because y'all know me, if I know something, I'm not gatekeeping. I'm telling y'all what I know. I'm sharing what I've learned. I'm going to bring people to you that know something. And I have some great people. One of my friends, Alicia, who's coming on, broke it all the way down. And so I felt like October just felt like the right month. Also because for a lot of us who are working in the working world, October is open enrollment. And open enrollment is when your job says, all right, if you want to either enroll in insurance or change your insurance or choose a different health company or plan, this is the time to do it. If you want short-term disability, long-term disability, if you want all those health-related things, this is the time to go into the little portal and pick and click and do the thing, right? Why not have this conversation in October where there's still time, right? And you can learn some things and make your selections and make your choices. So that's why this month felt right for me to have this conversation, okay? I'm gonna make sure you walk away with some tangible resources, some things to look at or think about. Because like I said, I'm not gatekeeping. I never have been that kind of person. And in regards to this, the show ain't gonna be the thing. I'm gonna tell y'all everything as much as I can tell you, okay? So again, I'll give you a brief overview what happened without going into too much detail because I feel like I done told this story about 50, 11 times, y'all. I broke my ankle in 3 places. And it took 2 different medical groups. It took 4 different orthopedic doctors, 2 different primary care physicians. Did I say 2 medical groups? It took 2 different hospitals, a whole bunch of things to happen before I actually got care. I will say that my health insurance company was helpful, but at the same time, it still was really hard to navigate. And I will say this, all I could think about this entire time, what if I didn't understand what was happening to me? For example, what if English wasn't my first language? What if my mental capacity or capacity to understand was different? What if I didn't have a support system like my mama in her 70s, even though she and I are, we don't have the best relationship, but she was like, what's your doctor's phone number? She called down there. My parents were like, what is happening? My daughter, I have an adult daughter. What's going on? My brother, like, what if I didn't have that or my friends that said, I can pick you up and take you to your doctor's appointment? What if none of those things were in place for me as I tried to navigate? I just would have been quote unquote asked out, right? Like, I don't know. So that's all I could think about this whole time. And I think that's where the intersection of public health and healthcare for me, it kind of started to make sense. So anyway, let me share with you some things that I've, but just sort of big picture, okay? And then over the course of the episodes, we'll kind of dig in a little bit more. Big picture, baby. Healthcare in the United States is worse than trash. I am so sorry. And I'm sorry if you work in healthcare and you are offended, I am sorry, but you probably actually will agree with me because a lot of the nurses in the ER that I was talking to were like, yeah, that sounds about right. Yep. And they were agreeing with me, right? So I just feel like there is a big problem here in the United States when it comes to healthcare, and I don't quite understand why. I know other countries have more of a universal health care, but there are also issues with that, right? What takes too long, but at least people know they can walk into somewhere and get treatment. Here, if you don't have insurance, you're kind of like stuck. But I learned even if you do have insurance, you still can end up stuck. And so it was really crazy. So here's what I said. I wrote it down. So I'm gonna read it to you because I got on my little, them fingers was typing. These long nails, they can still type, baby. I said, healthcare in the United States is disjointed, discombobulated, disorganized, causing delays, denials, dissatisfaction, and even death. Listen, this is horrible. And we have to really start to think, we have an election coming up. How are we going to fix this? Because I don't understand why people don't have access, or even if they have access, they still can't get the kind of care they need in a timely manner. The other thing I think, big picture for me, is we tend to think of your health insurance company and your doctor. Like you have health insurance and the company is, I'm just going to name one, Anthem, Blue Cross, right? And then you think of your primary care physician, that's it. But there are so many more people and players in the game that you also need to be aware of. One example is your medical group, especially if you have an HMO. If your medical group is trash, you're going to have problems accessing your health care. And so you need to understand those types of things when you're thinking about health insurance, what type of health plan you want, and what kind of doctors you want. So again, it's not just your insurance company and your doctor or your provider. There's a whole bunch of other people along the way that have some say so in the kind of care you get or don't get and how timely it is or not. So that was a lesson for me too, because I called the insurance company and they're like, we didn't tell you couldn't do that. That's your medical group. And I'm like, well, what's my medical group? What is that? And they're like, here's the phone number, you call them. And I'm like, oh. So you understand what I'm saying? There's so much other parts of this. And the last thing is, the last biggest lesson for me, it's not just about access. Now, I'm not saying that to say that access is not important. So we do need to make sure that people have health insurance. They have a medical home, meaning they know where to go to get their care. That is important, but that's not just the only thing that matters. Because as in my example, I have access. I actually also have an understanding of the healthcare system to some degree because of my background in public health. So not only do I have access, I understand. I can talk to a nurse or a physician in a way that they're like, oh, she understands what's going on. But it's not just about that access, because if you don't know how to, so to me, I feel like it's like you have a key, right, to a door. But if you don't know how to use that key to open the door to go into the other side, what value does the key have? How much is that key worth at that point if you don't know how to use it to get into the door? I just made that up. Oh, what is the point? What good is it to have the key if you can't get in the door? It's not worth anything, right? So if you don't even know how to enter the system to use it appropriately, then you might as well not have it at all. So those are my 3 lessons that I learned through this whole ordeal. Healthcare is, we are under the trash. We go way down, okay? There are more players in the healthcare system than just your health insurance company and your provider. And that access is not the be all end all, because again, if you don't know how to get in, then it actually is not useful to you at all. One other thing I'll say is I was really bothered by how disjointed, because there's so many different players. Health insurance company, you call them and complain. I noticed they can make things happen. But if I try to call, it's a little bit more of a barrier. And so I just felt like there was some disorganization and sort of disconnection. I'll give you a quick example. One doctor says, your injury is more involved than I can fix. So I need to send you to someone else. And luckily, when that doctor said that, I had a friend with me, and he said, will you send her x-rays to the next doctor? And that doctor said, of course. Okay. Make the appointment with the new doctor. Get there. New doctor's like, how can I help you? I don't know who. You don't know nothing? You don't have my x-rays? No, I don't have your x-rays. I don't have anything. Why are you here? How can I help you? You done wasted my time. And this other doctor done played in my face. So do you understand the disorganization? And what I had to end up doing, again, I have a certain level of understanding. I called Blue Cross back and said, Blue Cross, can you make sure that my x-rays get to this person over here? And Blue Cross said, fine. And they called that doctor and said, can you send her x-rays over there? And they said, pick them up. Thankfully, again, Blue Cross. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not really mad at the insurance company. Blue Cross said, ma'am, she cannot drive. How is she coming to get anything? And they said, oh, we'll mail them. And they did. So it's just that sort of disconnection and just not organized, no streamlining or coordination of anything. Because that was a wasted doctor's visit for me to go to see this man. And he's like, hi, how can I help you? Why are you here? And it's a lot of effort for me at the time to get out of the house, to get outside. So it was like, this was a waste of my time, and a waste of my friend who has to bring me because I can't drive. So those kinds of things to me just don't make no sense. And I'll also just really have some things to say about that as well. But I want to bring that up too. And so we're going to go to commercial. I know it's kind of an early commercial, but when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about some of the other challenges that I have faced. And then I'll run through who's coming for the rest of the month. I got some really good folks to come on and have this really, 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 really important conversation about healthcare. So let's go to a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Are you ready for enlightening conversations that transcend boundaries? Get ready for Conversations with Clergy, brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. In partnership with the world's largest publicly funded international collaboration, the HVTN is dedicated to evaluating vaccines to prevent HIV and COVID-19. But their impact doesn't stop there. The HVTN is at the forefront of advancing vaccinology, social and behavioral sciences, statistics, immunology, and even contributing to the research on tuberculosis and COVID-19 vaccines. By supporting Conversations with Clergy, the HVTN not only brings you thought-provoking discussions, but also contributes to the global effort to combat infectious diseases. Tune in, stay informed, and be a part of the change. Conversations with Clergy, supported by the HVTN, empowering conversations, empowering lives. Join us in this journey of knowledge, understanding, and progress. Conversations with Clergy, proudly brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network, because together we can make a difference.
All right, we're back. All right, so y'all doing a little bit of ranting and raving about the state of the United States healthcare system. Just a little bit of ranting and raving, and also sharing some of my observations. One of the biggest observations for me was the connection between physical health and mental health. Did I know that already? Yes, I did. But it's different when you experience it and live it, right? One of the things I remember saying to a good friend of mine is that no one is asking me about my mental health. And when I say, I'm not talking about my friends. I'm not talking about the people that are closest to me that are like, how are you? Like, are you okay? Because people were asking that. Nobody in the medical establishment was like, are you okay? Do you feel hopeless, helpless, like you are a burden? Are you depressed? Nobody was asking me that. I didn't get that answer I didn't get asked those kinds of questions until I finally got to the space where I was getting treatment for my condition. But that whole time, nobody was like, you good? Nobody was asking about money, finance, like, you okay? Are you living outside? You know, are you at home? What's going on? Nobody. And so I don't know if you guys follow me on LinkedIn, but I was sharing some of the things around that connection between physical health and mental health. And if you are injured or ill, mental health challenges can really kind of bubble up for you that maybe weren't there before. And then you have to deal with them. Things like depression, when you realize that your mobility is different, or you can't live your life the way you were living it, that can really mess with your sense of yourself and cause you to have depression. You can actually grieve the loss of mobility, the loss of your health, and it can really play a number on you. Same thing with isolation, right? Can cause that depression. You can have anxiety. Wait a minute. I used to be a letter carrier, and now because I've broken my leg, I cannot work anymore right now, or temporarily. Who's going to pay my bills, right? Those kinds of things can bring about anxiety, worrying about the cost of your medical care, worrying about surgery, being afraid, am I going to survive my surgery? Those kinds of things can bring up anxiety. Social isolation and loneliness. That one was big because for me, my mobility had changed. So I couldn't let me just go outside. Let me go jump in the car and go see my friends. I had to rely on people to come to me. And everybody has their own life to live. Everybody's doing their own thing, working and doing other things. They can't be stopping to worry about Nicole over here, just, sitting. Right. And so, but I didn't realize how much of an impact it had on me until I was like, dang, I need to start calling somebody come see about, hello. Somebody come check on me. It was me and Mew Mew up in here. And Mew Mew actually is really good as a companion, but she can't talk. Okay. She can only mew and ask for her food. So it was like that interaction with friends and things became really, really, really important. And I think one thing that came up for me in regards to social isolation and loneliness is that I had some friends that, we're not super, super close, but close enough to where once they realized what was happening, they were like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it. They were calling me like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize what was happening if I had known XYZ. So that also to me told me that in some ways, a lot of us keep in what's going on in a way to protect ourselves, but in some ways that can be harmful because when we don't let people know what's going on in our lives, they're not given the opportunity to show up for us. So that was an interesting dynamic. Self-esteem and identity issues can come into play. Again, if your mobility is different, maybe you feel differently about how you look, and all those sorts of things. And so you also have to deal with feeling like you're a burden to people. And that was hard for me too, because I'm independent times 1,000,000. Like, baby, I got this. I could take care of this by myself. Whoop-de-woo, right? But it's like, no. You literally, it's not even about, well, let me ask, stop being funny style. I literally cannot do a thing. I actually have to ask somebody because for real, like I can't do this. And that was really hard. Stress, trying to manage your symptoms, trying to figure out your treatment, grief and loss over, your loss of mobility. You can become exhausted and have burnout. You got trauma. There's all these things that can happen. And like I said, I just really feel like in my instance, nobody was asking, Nicole, you good? The other part of that for me is Nicole is always the strong girl. Nicole is always the one laughing and smiling. Nicole is the one that always looks like she's okay. Nicole was not okay at all. Okay. Now, for the most part, I was fine, but there were moments where I was like, is the rest of my life going to be spent this way? Because this don't make no sense. What am I supposed to? And so I don't know what the answer to that is because, our healthcare system is so separate, right? Dental is one thing, medical is one thing, mental is something else, right? And so there's really like no connection between mental health and physical health in a way that I know of that's meaningful. It would have been my responsibility, I guess, to find a therapist and kind of work through that. But it would have been nice to have someone say, hey, one of the nurses or someone, are you okay? And that didn't quite happen. And so I think I guess my message here to you is if you know someone that is dealing with illness, disability, whether permanent or temporary, check on your people because they may be presenting like they're okay, or they may be kind of silent, but there may be a lot going on behind the scenes that they're dealing with and trying to process, in addition to processing the literal, right, logistical challenges of the illness and the disability. And so, check on your people, make sure they're okay. I greatly appreciate everyone that has stopped by, called, said, I'll take you to the doctor. I have a friend that I met on LinkedIn in person one time. And after that point on, has taken me to almost all of my doctor's appointments. My friend from school, when everything first went down, came, and she's small. She's a little thing, smaller than me. I'm like almost, I'm just gonna say this. I don't even know if I should. I'm almost 300 pounds, y'all. Okay. And my friend, she probably half that or even lower, was like, okay, I'll take you to the doctor. And I'm like pulling me around in the wheelchair. Oh my goodness. So it was like, I just thank everybody that helped me and stood in the gap for me when I couldn't do for myself. And I still have some challenges, but really, really grateful for everybody. Phone call, text message, you good? Appreciate all of it. All right, so let's move on to the rest of the month. I'm so excited to have some really good people to come on to talk about some stuff. So one of the conversations I had on LinkedIn was about that connection between mental health and physical health. And my friend, Dr. Brandy Florence, I think she has her MSW. Her doctorate isn't, no, her doctorate is in education like me, her master's degrees in social work. She was like, we should have a conversation about it. It's really important. So Brandy's going to come on next week, and we're going to talk about how important that mental health aspect is in regards to your health, right? Now, on the 24th, this one is going to be really, really good. I had somebody already reach out to me and say, hey, I'm thinking of making a switch from one health insurance type of company to another, and I'm not really sure what to do. I said, make sure you join me on October 24th. I have a great person coming on. Her name is Alicia. And I have had the opportunity to be on her platform, and she helped us understand 5 of us in this platform. And I was telling them my story. She literally would stop me every few minutes and say, the doctor should have did this. Nope, that shouldn't have happened that way. That wrong CT scan, they CT scanned your knee instead of your ankle. All they had to do was call back the doctor and ask for a new CT scan. So she was able to like pull out all that happened wrong and clarify where things went awry and what could have happened to make them better. So she also literally went on, shared her screen and said, listen, figure out what kind of health plan or who you want to work with, this is how you do the search. And she click, and was able to show people, this is how you try to figure out if you have a young child and you want a pediatrician, or, you're trying to look for a new primary care physician. This is how you do that search on your health insurance plan. So I want her to come and answer some questions. And hopefully you guys will watch and you can ask questions live and she can answer them, because she is very knowledgeable and helped me understand, like, so for example, when I first got injured, my doctor's like, you have to come in. She was like, he could have done a telehealth visit. You can't drive. How was you supposed to get? I said, I don't know, but they told me I had to come in. She said, he didn't have to do you like that. But I didn't. I mean, how would I know something like that? She said all he had to do was schedule a telehealth visit. And then when I told my daughter was like, yeah, because I have had a telehealth visit with him myself because we had the same doctor. I'm like, these people be playing in my face. So anyway, she's coming on the 24th. Alicia Coulter is coming on the 24th. And like I said, she's coming with the tangibles. This is how you search for a health plan. This is how you search for your medical group if you have an HMO. She's going to tell y'all, if you can get off the HMO, get off of it. She's going to tell you that. I'm telling you that now. So there's some things that she's going to tell you that are very practical. And then on the 31st, I have Rhonda Smith. Rhonda Smith is the executive director of California Black Health Network. And I want to talk to her about big picture, the status of Black Californians in regards to their health. She has some data. They have a campaign they did. I think it's called How Do I? To help people understand how to navigate their health care. How do I talk to my physician? How do I work with my insurance company? And so they did that series, and I think she has some key things to talk about in regards to that, some outcomes that came from that campaign that I'm really excited for her about. And as Black folk in California, we should be really, really looking at the election, these propositions, and who's going to run for office. We should be really paying attention in regards to our healthcare. So that's what the rest of the month is going to look like. Really, really excited to have these folks on. Keep yourself tuned in to, stay abreast, because I come on at the same time every week, y'all. Thursday, 6:15 p.m. You can even get a text to remind you to join. I think that was in one of the commercials. Oh, there it goes. See? Mm-hmm. Text Blaze to that number right there, and it'll say, hey, we about to go live. I don't know if it actually says it like that, but it's going to tell you what to do, so you know when to join. And I'm going to have these people on. I'm always trying to make sure y'all know what to do. You know what's going on. You make the right decisions for yourself. I will never gatekeep, because ain't no reason to. Why would I do that? I don't want you to go through what I went through, because this was crazy. So that's going to be the next few weeks. I don't even know what I'm doing going into November and December. We talk about that when we get there. For all things health care, okay? I'm gonna bring people in here that gonna have answers to y'all questions. All right. I'm actually gonna shut it down. We ended a little bit early tonight, but I just want to remind you that I am on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm gonna try to get back to TikTok. I'm gonna try because I feel like I have something to say, but we're going to work back on that. I'm mostly on LinkedIn these days. It just feels natural to me to be in that space. You can also visit my website, www.NicoleDvick.com. There's a lot of stuff. I actually went on my own website the other day. I was like, hold on, this video, I forgot I had posted this video up. And I have all these videos that I've done. I have a playlist of past episodes that I've been a guest on. You can actually see this podcast on my website. I have my books on my website. I have 3 books. Pushing Through, that's my first one, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. I have Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times, my journal. And then my last one, this is an anthology, so I contributed a chapter, Triumph in the Trenches. This is for Black professionals that need help navigating, because the working world is rough. And we got to figure out how to navigate it. Either if you're going to do your own thing, that's fine. But if you're going to stay in, you got to figure out how to get through it, okay? All right, y'all. I will see you next week. So Dr. Brandy Florence will be on, and we're going to talk about the connection between mental health and, illness and disability, whether permanent or temporary, and, see what comes up, because this I think it'll be a really, really great conversation. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for always being a support to me in any and every way. Watching this podcast is a support to me. Texting me, girl, you good, is support to me. My friend will come by with smoothies. Here, I bought you a smoothie. Thank you. And I'm going to drink it. Okay. So anything that, in any way, because I feel like I've always been so used to taking care of myself. First, it was me taking care of my dog. She's 28 years old, almost 30 years old, y'all. I don't have to take care of her no more. So it's just me and Mew Mew. And Mew Mew, as long as I feed her, she good. But, it's sometimes really hard to accept help from people when you're used to doing everything by yourself. This house is only one name on this mortgage, right? Everything is on my back. And so if I'm not well and if I fail, everything crumbles. And that's real. Okay, at least in my world. So when people reach out to me, sometimes it can be hard, but this taught me, listen, take the help. Ask for help. It's okay. When a friend of mine said, you need anything from Sam's Club? And I was like, no. And he asked me a second time. I said, okay, can you please bring me some water? Let people help you. Okay? Do not push people away when they're trying to help you. Let them help you. You ain't always got to be the one with the cape on. Let somebody else do it for a minute. Okay? That's my parting words to y'all. I will see you next week. Bye.
you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.